Welcome back to Whatever You Need. Today, we explore a story that has stirred conversations across Turkey's entertainment scene and beyond. At the heart of this wave stand two names that have long symbolized strength, artistry, and discretion: Güps Özay and Barış Arduç. Their partnership has for years been described as one of the few examples where love and career walked side by side without demanding constant display. That is exactly why a single remark, one fragment of an interview, felt like an earthquake for fans. Before we dive in, let me remind you to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and if you'd like to help us continue bringing you these in-depth explorations, press the join button to become an official supporter. Every comment you leave adds to the conversation, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts below. Now, let's unfold the full picture with care. For years, when you mentioned Güps and Barış in the same sentence, it meant stability. Güps, with her sharp comedic writing, bold acting, and reputation for nurturing her colleagues, became known as a creative force with depth. Barış, with his quiet charisma and skill in letting understatement speak louder than noise, evolved into a leading man capable of carrying projects without arrogance. Together, their partnership created something audiences respected: a public life where the work was visible, but the heart of the home remained private. They didn't parade their love for headlines, nor did they feed gossip with easy soundbites. And it worked until recently. In what was meant to be a thoughtful interview, Güps Özay reportedly spoke about the challenges of being constantly visible, about the rhythms within a relationship, and about reaching a point where moving forward as is no longer felt authentic. The line that traveled the fastest was also the starkest: her suggestion that perhaps parting ways might, at some point, be the most honest choice. It wasn't a declaration, not even a definitive decision, but rather a reflection on how difficult it can be when two good people find themselves walking at different tempos. Yet nuance rarely survives the speed of the internet. Within minutes, quotes were circulating without context. Some outlets presented it as a confession, others as an intention, and a few as an inevitability. From there, the familiar cycle began. Entertainment accounts rushed to translate possibility into certainty. Fan communities split into factions, those urging everyone to respect privacy, those demanding clarification, and those claiming the public deserves answers because of how invested they felt in the couple's story. Industry observers, however, read it differently. In their view, Güps' choice to speak with such candor was not impulsive. When a public figure known for discipline chooses her words so carefully, it signals either that a decision is nearing, or that she is setting boundaries before others attempt to draw the lines for her. According to sources described as close to the couple, Güps' words were not meant as spectacle but as strategy. In a world where silence itself becomes content, where gossip pages invent stories in the absence of facts, sometimes naming the crossroads is the only way to reduce speculation. By acknowledging uncertainty herself, she could protect those around her and reclaim control over a narrative others might distort. This approach aligns with her long-standing style: take ownership of what you can, refuse to play in arenas you don't control, and trust the audience to handle the truth without sugarcoating. On the other side of this moment stands Barış Arduç. True to his character, he has not rushed to issue statements or half-answers. His silence is open to interpretation. Some see avoidance. Others recognize respect, a conscious choice not to turn private matters into public sparring. Those who have followed Barış's career know that he has always practiced restraint, letting his work do the talking. His decision not to counter Gup's words immediately reflects the same discipline that has long kept his reputation intact. For him, timing and clarity matter more than speed. When public couples face turbulence, the audience instinctively searches for a villain. Was it work? Was it ambition? Was it fame? Yet relationships rarely end with neat antagonists. More often, it is the quiet erosion of days, the realization that two people who admire one another deeply may still want different futures. This is why Gup's phrasing, clear, unflinching, honest, landed so heavily. It was not cruel, but it refused to disguise reality. And that, for fans accustomed to fairy tale narratives, was difficult to absorb. Still, amid the noise, observers pointed out what mattered: neither Gup's nor Bari's descended into digital theater. There were no veiled barbs on social media, no late-night live streams, no friends firing subtweets into the storm. Instead, the space was left quiet, dignified, and breathable. That choice, in itself, is rare and deserves recognition. Of course, the entertainment industry doesn't pause for heartbreak. Contracts, press tours, and campaigns will continue. What managers and teams can do is soften the edges, redirect interviews toward craft, adjust schedules, and shield their clients from intrusive questions. If an official statement emerges, the wisest version would likely be minimalist, expressing gratitude, asking for respect, and leaving the rest unspoken. Anything more risks feeding endless speculation. And speculation, while inevitable, often misses the point. Work can pressure a marriage without being its downfall. Fame can strain a bond without dooming it. Love can be sincere and still insufficient. To insist on a villain is to avoid the scarier truth. Even good people, with good intentions, sometimes cannot remain together. What rattled the culture so deeply is that Gup's and Bari's had modeled something admirable: independence within togetherness, celebration without exploitation, privacy without coldness. If they do choose separate paths, it doesn't erase the value of what they shared. A love that shaped two people's lives for years does not become meaningless simply because it reached an end. Real endings can still be dignified. They can still be honored. And they remind us that the internet's impatience with closure should not define how real human relationships are remembered. There are a few paths the future might hold. First, a period of silence, deliberate, healing, and respectful. Second, a joint statement, carefully worded, when the time feels right. Third, a return to work, not as denial but as continuation of what has always defined them: their craft. Their projects, their artistry, remain the one place where they can speak without distortion. So let's turn this question to you, our community. What does real support look like in moments like this? Should fans demand answers, or should respect mean allowing silence to stand? Tell us what you think in the comments below. We value your insight and want to hear your voices. As this chapter unfolds, let's hold on to one truth: public figures may entertain us, but they are still people navigating ordinary struggles behind extraordinary spotlights. If Gup's Ozzy and Bari's Ardok choose to continue together, we can celebrate. If they choose separate paths, we can honor the love that was and wish them both grace in the journey ahead. Thank you for joining us here on Whatever You Need. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and click the join button if you'd like to support our work more deeply. And most importantly, share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective makes this community stronger. Until next time, remember, honesty is not an ending, it's the beginning of living truthfully.